Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie. This movie came back out in 2009. And I remember I was so ecstatic when this movie came out. In fact, it had about 11 million viewerships in just the first night. And it was one of the biggest Disney Channel original movies there were. Of course, it's based off of the Wizards of Waverly Place television series that lasted for 4 seasons. And it was an amazing series. Probably except for the last season. It was a little iffy, but it was still alright. And it's one of my all-time favorite Disney Channel original series. And so this movie takes place sometime between season 2 and season 3. And well, it's just awesome. And you know what? It still holds up till today. In fact, a lot of the CGI and graphics still hold up till today. Except for some stuff that still was bad back then and it was bad still now. Now, this movie had a much bigger budget than that of the television series. They was able to go to Puerto Rico to film. This is the second time Selena Gomez has been over there to film a Disney Channel movie. That Princess Protection movie was also filmed over there. The scene with the subway train and the actual television set, that was filmed in Canada. This is actually the first time the show has ever been in HD. You can tell there's a different quality to that of the movie film and that of the sound. It doesn't look or feel the same way as it does on the show. And that's because on the show they film in a studio. You can really tell when it comes to Selena's voice. Her voice just doesn't sound particularly right in the movie. Plus, she's not her hyperactive self as she is in like the show. She's more serious and stuff. Now, when it comes to that of Disney Channel like movies, this sadly did not get a theatrical release. It was merely just made for like television. And in fact, I think only 2 Disney Channel shows have ever went the theatrical route. That being Lizzie McGuire the first and Hannah Montana the second. And there's probably a reason for those 2. Like when it came to Lizzie McGuire, that was kind of the show that redefined Disney. They was coming out of the Zoog Disney era and going into the Disney Channel era. And shows like Even Stevens and what was it, So Weird, the famous Jet Jackson was really putting them on the map. But it was Lizzie McGuire that like had the Midas touch and everything. That's what started them going the extreme female route for their Disney Channel shows. And Hannah Montana was the second closest show that had a strong viewership similar to that of Lizzie McGuire. So those 2 got the theatrical release. I truly believe that if they were to have put this movie out with this same plot, give it a much bigger budget than what the movie had, and a bit more edginess and drama to the movie than what was shown in here, it could have had a theatrical like release. It would have been very, very cool and stuff. Because the Wizard show, which is just merely a rip on Harry Potter and everything, is very well done. Like, it's a sitcom show. It's wacky, it's silly, it's fun, but they know how to get serious, especially when they have their hour specials or like this movie and stuff. Now, is this movie considered canon? That is the huge debate right there. And the reason for it being a huge debate is the Wizard competition. The Wizard competition was shown in the series finale. It was an hour special. And it is completely and utterly different than what you see in the movie. Not only that, but they start adding little tidbits in the movie that's different from that of the show, and the magic has been enhanced. you can give the magic a pass. You can give the spell book a pass. But that competition is the real kicker in everything. And even the events of the movie briefly got mentioned in the show, but you can give that a pass and just say, oh, maybe there's another time she made her parents forget, like, you know, they knew each other and stuff like that. Because Alex is just so bad. So I truly feel that no, I don't feel this movie is canon within the TV show. And it's mainly just because it's like the small stuff, but then it's that competition, like I said. It's just way too different. But then again, you could try to say that maybe the competition was so dangerous that they changed it for the television show. But they literally say in the television show they have done this for centuries and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But hey, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So it could be canon. It could just be in the movie was so dangerous, that competition, that they had to change up something more friendly in the television series. Either way, this movie, I believe, is truly written very well. It has a more mature feel and an adventure feel than that of the TV show. There's no laugh track. There's still humor in there, but it's to a minimum. Characters that are normally silly and wacky are more mature, like Max. The pacing is very well done. The set pieces are amazing. And not only that, but the scenery is great. They found some really nice spots in Puerto Rico, and they found a really nice hotel. And that cave, I forgot where they filmed that part at, in a different part of Puerto Rico. Not sure the whole cave is real or not, but it is nice. That mountaintop view, boy, that was gorgeous. I am so glad they gave this movie the budget it needed to look impressive. And they really put the CGI where it needed to go. In the competition, the sky is literally purple. Now, at the competition, because the sky is purple and the grass, that's real grass, is real green, it makes it look like it's on a weird, like, green screen and everything. But I do give them credit for trying to change the color of the sky because this is a magical world after all. Not only that, but a lot of the other CGI, like I said before, is really good. The Stone of Dreams is really good, how it pulsates and everything. The, like, you know, terrain was really good when, like, you know, the plants will come up and down as a trail. The rock gliding part was, or the boulder gliding part was really cool. The only parts that the CGI is spotty is doing some parts of the competition, like with the water and the giant flower thing, and when Giselle turns back into a parrot. When she turned into a parrot, it was atrocious back then, and it's atrocious now. Like, you just can't get past that. It's terrible. All of the family members on the show appear in this movie. Harper, the friend, however, only has a cameo, which is really crappy because she missed a lot in the first season. And they could have found the way to cram her into the movie more. Like, you know, because I mean, if they brought Beans to their family vacation, they could bring her. They brought her to the wizard competition in the show, and they brought her to Italy in the second Wizards of Waverly Place, like, TV special. That is not really considered a movie, even though I consider it to be a movie, but it's more of a TV special. I'll get into that slightly a little bit more towards the end. And one of the things that's really interesting about this movie is the personalities, like I said, are slightly different. Here, Max is not as dumb as he is in the show. In the show, he is dumb as rocks. But here, he's just a normal kid who pulls pranks, and he's a bit more mature and a tiny bit smarter. Justin is the same person he is in, like, the show. He's a dork, but he's not overly a dork. He picks on Alex, but not to the extent of doing it in the show. But however, his personality does shift. He's rude to his father at one point, mocking him and stuff, which is something we've never seen in the show. This is the show that the kids are getting older, and this is more of a realistic setting. Also, David Henry probably was happy to do that because word is he never liked the Justin character. He didn't like playing a dork, which is one of the reasons when you could tell like during the series he started to bulk up in muscle. And it's kind of like, I get it. Like he's completely different than who you are. And when I say this dude is different, I mean he is different. I mean, when you read up on him, it's kind of like, you okay, dude? And stuff. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like he knew what the role was, so I get why he took it. He was young. He wanted to be on TV. Sometimes you just do things like that. But still, you knew what you're getting yourself into. And when it comes to Alex, her personality is very much the same as in the show. She's just not as devious as she is in the show, but she is extremely rude to that of her mom to the point where they get into it, which is interesting because normally she gets on her dad's nerves a lot in the show because she always does something dumb and dangerous and he fusses her out, but she never bad talks. This is the first time we've ever seen that because her and her mom have a good relationship in the show. So I do like that more mature vibe. And I love the adventure vibe of this movie. Problem is, it takes halfway to the middle for it to get adventurous and stuff. First, they set up the plot and everything that has to go wrong. I wish they would make another movie. Yeah, I know everybody's moved on from Disney Channel and stuff like that. And they didn't always have the best working relationship on Disney Channel, especially the father, who I think at one point they wanted to like fire for like the dumbest reason. I think it's when he got hurt or something like that. But it's Wizards of Waverly Place, man. Like I would never want to see it get rebooted. But if they were to ever reboot it, make it more like a serious tone like this, but I just want to see the family come back for one more big adventure where they all get to come back because David Henry didn't get to come back for the second one. I think he was filming a short movie at the time. I think he directed it. And it's just one more big adventure, And so basically the movie is just like Alex and Harper, they want to go to somebody's party. Their parents won't let them because they don't know the parents and it's very far away. So she uses magic to like use the subway train to go there. And it's a really cool, awesome scene. The CGI is pretty good for the most part, but it's a little video game-ish a little bit, but it's still very good. And, this is the part that's filmed in Canada. Basically, everything goes wrong. Why? Because Alex stole a magic spell book. And it's 4 dangerous spells. Now, this magic spell book is never seen throughout the show, and it's never mentioned. And so it's to the point where they finna crash hard. So she's like waving her wand in the air, trying to like stop it. And when they use their wands in this, there's like a trail of magic and stuff. Like I said before, the magic has been enhanced, but there's like a magical trail now. But it turns out she didn't stop it, Justin did, and he has the family wand. And basically, the family wand is the most powerful wand in the family, and it destroyed most of the subway thing, as the parents later showed up. And so basically, Justin was allowed to use it to do better spells, but Alex wasn't because she's not reliable. This pisses her off. The whole Justin-Alex dynamic was always a plus in the show, especially in the earlier seasons. She would mess up. He's the smart one, so he had to fix everything. That dynamic started to die down once the show got around the 3rd and 4th season, when they got a different showrunner because the old one got fired. And so, like, basically, Alex is in big trouble, and the family is going, well, the parents are going on a vacation to the Caribbean from when they first met, fell in love, and all this other stuff. Alex, being the rude person that she is, she pisses off her mom. And it's to the point where she keeps using magic to do stuff. And so basically, as she's packing, they get into a little bit of a tiff. So because Alex did the whole subway train thing, now the entire family is going on this vacation. Not only that, but they're not allowed to bring their wands. And this is really interesting because, they use their wands all the time in the show because they have to. Very rarely do they do hand magic. And so, but what's interesting is that Max's wand is completely different. Now, somewhere in the show, he did break his, and his dad gave him a licorice wand. I think that's the wand he used growing up, or maybe it was the family one. If not, then they retconned that for this movie. So he's given a wooden wand similar to that of Justin. And so, basically, Justin takes the wand with him on a vacation, and Alex brings the spell book. And this is really unusual of Justin to break the rules. He's not a rule breaker. And so while they're there, they really don't want to have to hear the story over and over, how their parents fell in love. Alex really doesn't want to be there. And she's just trying to do everything to get away from them, but they won't let her out their sight. And so basically, she is crushing on one of the dudes who work there, and the moms are like, he's just using you to get money and all this other stuff. Her and her mom cannot get along at all during this vacation because Alex wants to do what she wants to do, but her mom won't let her because the boys get to pick first. So basically, this just caused a huge problem between the two, and it's really interesting to see these two argue with each other because we've never seen that on the show, and it was a breath of fresh air. Basically, Alex and Justin are one-upping each other as they're sailing and stuff. I forget what you call it. It's surfing and sailing at the same time. So they both realize one has the book and one has the wand. So Alex does her blackmail crap, and she lets him borrow, or he lets her borrow the wand. This causes a huge problem because the mom comes in at some point later when she realized Justin tried to magically glue her butt to a chair. She sees Alex trying to practice a spell. This pisses her off, and they get into a huge argument to where Alex literally utters the phrase, "I hate you." This lets you know that this is exactly not the television show. It is more edgy and more mature. And then Alex says a wish that she wishes she never did with the magic spell book in hand. And I think maybe the family wand or whatever. She literally says, "I wish you and Dad never met each other." And then it happens. With the power of the book and the wand, it literally reverses time. Now, they're still in the same time setting, but events in the past happen differently now, to where Jerry and Teresa never met, never fell in love, and never had 3 kids. And he is now a full wizard because when a wizard see, here's the thing. If you have siblings, you have to go through a wizard competition, and only one person gets to be the head wizard, while the other people be mortal. He had all the power, and he fell in love with a mortal human, and the rules say if you do that, you gotta give up your powers and stuff. So he now has his powers again, and he has no recollection of him ever having kids. This is really cool because we've never seen him with powers other than that one birthday episode, and he's a very much different person when he has them. He's reckless, he pulls pranks, he's very juvenile when he has magic. And this is quite the shocker because he's very stern and very talking about how magic is, you have to have a responsibility, and you know, he's always getting on to the kids, and especially Alex, for like goofing around with magic, and Max and stuff like that. So it's weird to see that at some point in time he used to cut loose, but then settling down, losing his magic and having a family, he realized it was time for him to grow up. And so the kids, of course, are freaking out and everything. And since he's a full wizard, you know, he doesn't want to reveal himself, but he later does to them. And he tells them, you know, because they're in the Caribbean, and the Caribbean is the most magical place there is. And he tells them, like, you know, if somebody pulled the spell off that you said they did, then they would have to like reverse it with the person, whoever's the head wizard, or find the stone of dreams and everything, which is there in the Caribbean. And so the thing is, they only have like a day or two before they lose their memories, and then they're vanished from like reality and everything. So the stakes are high, man. Not only do they not have a place to stay because they're kids in the hotel and the parents don't know who they are, but they're about to lose their memory and just vanish. And they don't have their wands, and nobody in their family is a full wizard yet. And they have no idea how they're gonna find this Stone of Dreams thing. And it's also weird to see the way Teresa and Jerry act. They're acting like teenagers and stuff. And Jerry, man, so like basically they're trying to figure out what to do. And so they're like, okay, look, gotta find this stone, and we gotta keep our parents from interacting with other people in case they fall in love with other people, and then they'll never be able to fix the timeline and stuff. So it's interesting because Jerry is a horny dude who's like hitting on all the women, and he loves those Latin women and stuff, and he's Italian. And so Max's job is, of course, to like, you know, trail the parents and make sure they don't fall in love with nobody else. And this is where we get to see more of the maturity of Max and stuff, as he is slowly starting to forget because he is the youngest. It is there they meet a magician and everything, a former wizard, but a parrot. The parrot name is Giselle, and his name is something I can't remember. And basically he wants the stone to return Giselle back into a human. So he's constantly trying to, like, you know, get the kids to like follow his map and this and that. They realize they got no choice, but the problem is, in order to find the stone, is very dangerous and people have died. So as they go into like the rainforest and everything, Justin falls into like quicksand of all things, which is really funny because later on his dad falls in it, and Max and Teresa has a stick keep falling as they're trying to get him out. But it is very dangerous to get there. There's tons of quicksand there where they have to scale on top of like a mountain, and then they have to cross. And in order to cross, it's really weird. To find this trail, you gotta be pure to wanting to find the stone. It didn't work for Justin, but it worked for Alex. Justin's big thing is he wants to showboat and show how powerful and smart he is. Alex is actually genuine and wants to find it. When, like, you know, they are on top of the mountain cliff, you know, like he's able to make a bunch of like rocks appear as a bridge, but they fall down. He's just not powerful enough. But Alex has an idea. They do teamwork. They use like levitation to move these giant boulders, and then they hop on too and everything. Justin is frustrated because he doesn't understand how everything comes so easily to Alex when he studies 24/7. She's jealous of him because of how smart she is. When I started seeing this happen, I'm just kind of like, okay, I already know who's going to win this competition, and I already know who's going to win it in this show. It's pretty obvious, but it's been pretty obvious almost since the first season. I mean, the show revolves more around a certain character than it does the entire family. And so, like, after that, I think they have to go like find some girl, and oh no, they have to like the person who least knows the most will be able to find where they have to go. They find this little girl, and she takes them to this cave. And then the cave is really cool. They have to scale all around the cave and get the stone. Justin is able to do it, but the parrot steals it. And so, like, by this time, Max and Teresa and Jerry, they follow them. And when they showed up, they thought the spell was broken, but it's not. And they still don't remember who their kids are. And so, like, this is really devastating because we get to see emotion for the first time from, you know, Alex and everything. Alex is the bad girl of the show who just doesn't care. And it's really nice to see her emotional and loving her family and don't want to see them, like, you know, be apart, because the kid's about to vanish and the parents are not going to know who they are, even though they're starting to crush on each other now. But it's to the point where Teresa just wants nothing to do with this and she leaves. And so with the stone gone and now the parrot turned back into a human, the human parrot lady doesn't want the guy who, like, you know, freed her and everything. So desperate, Jerry comes up with the idea of, you know, the only way to do this now, because he can't reverse the spell, it has to be done by the person who uttered the words. They need to have the wizard competition, but it's years away. So Jerry, a full wizard, he uses all his might to summon the competition. I don't know if they're still in the Caribbean or if they're like in a different like part of the world and stuff, or even a different dimension. But this is when we get the purple skies and the green grass and all this other stuff. They're in like these special like uniforms and everything. And he tells them, you know, it's literally everything you've ever learned. You have to like use your wits and everything, but you can only use magic when it comes to that, the 4 elements: earth, water, wind, and fire. Which is weird, because I started thinking to myself, what was the point in learning all those spells if the competition is basically a dual battle of using the elements? Now in the television show, you do use the spells that you learn, and it's like a trivia type thing, and it's also like on a game show type thing, and you also have to rescue somebody from a griffin and also do like a selfless act and learn to like be a family and stuff. Here is completely different, and I do like this competition a heck of a lot better than, like, you know, the one I just stated in the show where they also have to go through a maze. And so like it's this time that like Teresa, well no, Max disappears actually. So but Teresa saw that, and then that's when she left. But then she found the parrot lady, and the magician dude stole the stone from, like, you know, the parrot. And that's when he turns her back into a parrot, because he realized he liked her better when she was helpless. Yeah, that part didn't age well. And stuff. And then he gives the stone to like Teresa. And so we get to see a very epic battle on a TV movie budget of Alex and like Justin like duking it out. And it's to the point where they have to grab the magic orb of magic. So it's kind of like, you know, when, what's those games in Harry Potter? Quidditch and everything. The magic has a mind of its own and moves around. So they have to chase it around. When she goes to run towards it, Justin literally throws down a like fire like wall to prevent her from moving. He is not joking around. He wants to win this thing. So basically she just uses like water all the time. That's really the only thing she knows how to do. And so like, because she does not study whatsoever. So she's able to get the best of him by making mud puddles and everything. And he constantly falls down in them. And so she uses like this really cool like water tornado thing to like move around the land like really fast. If this would have had a much bigger budget than the big budget they have now, oh, that would have been even more amazing. And so basically he decides he's going to turn her body to liquid. And they show her melting. I'm like, holy crap. This dude is literally trying to kill her twice. And so, like, she has a brilliant idea. Okay, she's going to use the elements. Might as well use them all up so she can turn herself into a flower. So, and that's really brilliant. So she uses it and she's close enough to grab the magical orb. And now she is a full wizard. I had a feeling she would be. The whole show literally revolves around her and stuff. And I knew she would win it in the show. And so, like, even though she doesn't appreciate magic and she doesn't study and she doesn't know how to use spells. And so at this point in time, Justin starts to forget who he is. She is extremely upset because she knows, bam, he just now disappeared and everything. And so she's worried to the point of almost tears. And she's asking her father help with spells. And he's all like, you gotta do this on your own. You're a full wizard now. But the problem is she doesn't know any. And when she tries to conjure those up by herself, she ain't focusing. Then Teresa shows up. How in the world did Teresa know where they were? That is never explained. How she was able to teleport to where the heck they are? That is never explained either. Because she can't use the dream stone thing because she's not a wizard. So this part's a little wishy-washy. But basically her dad tells her, hey, look, man, you can keep your powers and you can reverse time to fix everything to where your brothers come back. But you got to word it correctly. Alex does something unimaginable. She decides not to be selfish and she decides to just wish that she never made that wish to begin with. That was the most selfless act that we've ever really seen her do. She's done that before, like in the show, but never to this great extent. It really shows that she's more than just a troublemaker and more than just a bad girl. She actually really does love and care for her family. And as much as she wishes they'll never be there and how mean she is to them, she knows she needs them and everything. And so, you know, it goes back to the hotel. Her mom's fussing out. She's happy to see her mom and she's giving her a hug. The brothers come back and stuff. And, you know, they just like enjoy the rest of their vacation. And this was such a cool movie and everything. You know, the stakes were very high. The CGI looked amazing. And like I said before, some of it, a good number of it still holds up to the day. And this came out nearly like what, 14 years ago and stuff. Now, like I said before, they did make a second movie special type thing called Wizard's Return, Alice versus Alex, where she has an evil version of herself. This came up because I believe Selena Gomez was in her hotel room one day or one night, and I think she was flipping through Disney Channel and she realized something. Her show isn't in reruns. By this time, you know, Disney Channel has stopped doing reruns of certain shows they used to have. And it's been a couple of years since her show was on the air. So she really missed it and wanted people to like re-enjoy her show. This is before Disney Plus. So, you know, she contacted some people. They made this movie, but it's more in line with the television show with the laugh track and the studio and, you know, all that stuff. It had half the viewership as the first movie, which is really shocking, which really shows you that once the show got canceled and about 5 years had passed or whatever, people kind of forgot about this Wizards of Waverly Place, and the younger generation didn't really know what it was. Now people do because of Disney Plus. And people should also know this is like, I think the first, I believe, Latino and Italian show. Disney Channel really doesn't do predominantly people of color shows. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And when they do, like say Hispanic one, there's only been really one predominantly Hispanic show. It got canceled after one season. Then they took it off Disney Plus and it's nowhere to be found. They almost did it with Stuck in the Middle, but Stuck in the Middle has two people pretending to be Hispanic. And so this was a really like trailblazing like milestone for Disney Channel to have a show about people of color. In fact, I think Harper and Zeke are the only two white people in the show, and everybody else is either Italian or some form of Hispanic.